Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be Change Your Story and You'll Change Your Life. I've got an email here from a viewer, and he says, "Hey Corey, my social life is a fucking disaster." Really? He says, "A while ago, a great girl fell for me, but she had a boyfriend, so I had no choice but to walk away." Well, good for you for having the balls to walk away. Sometimes that shit happens. It's just the way it is. And when those situations happen, you can simply say to her, "Hey, if it doesn't work out, take my number, give me a call, shoot me a text. Love to hang out, get to know you." That's all you got to say. And if she ever does break up with the dude, she'll get in touch with you. He says, "She wanted me badly, but ultimately decided to stay with her guy, despite a clear depreciation in her interest level in him." It kind of tells me something more was going on in the story. Maybe you pursued her and you tried to get her to leave her boyfriend to you, but you ultimately didn't know what you were doing and you fucked it up, so she decided to stay with him. So that tells me you probably made yourself look weak in that particular case. And at the end of the day, if the chick's got a boyfriend, you should walk away. He says, "Nobody since has appreciated me in the way that she did, and nobody I have met while trying to get back in the game has had her special something which can make you feel powerful, optimistic, and driven." Absolutely. There's just certain women out there in life that you're going to encounter that even though you might meet, like I live in Delray Beach, and there's fucking beautiful women everywhere. But I'm not going to connect on all levels with every single one of those women, even though I might find them stunningly physically attractive. It's just the way it is. Because at the end of the day, what you really have to have in order to have, if you're looking for a girlfriend, you want to have a great relationship, is you got to have somebody that you can have a great friendship with. Someone that you have a lot of common interests, a lot of similar goals, similar values, similar outlook on life. You like to do the same kinds of things. I mean, think about this. Think about your best friend in life. You typically hang out with your best friend because there's lots of things that you have in common that you like doing together. But other people that you've met and encountered in your life who you haven't become as close to in your friendship because you just didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, or you didn't have the same common interest or many common interests in that particular case. So common sense would tell you that you've got to have the same thing, but I think a lot of reason is us guys, since we're visual creatures, we look at a girl and we think, "Oh wow, she's beautiful, she's hot." You're thinking about what your kids are going to look like together before you've even talked to her. And then you start talking to her and it's kind of hard to get her to engage with you, or it's kind of hard just to find things that you enjoy talking about. Or when she starts telling you about her life and what she's up to, what she likes to do for fun, it just doesn't do it for you. You find her boring or whatever. But even though you're physically attracted to her, the friendship, the chemistry, it's simply not there. It's either there or it's not. And a lot of guys try to assume that just because they're physically attracted to a woman, that everything else would just fall into place. And unfortunately, that's just not the way it is in life. Because, I mean, think about it. If you're going to spend your life for several decades with somebody, have a family, eventually the looks are going to fade as obviously you get older and things start to break down. And then you got to have a great friendship, because if you only got together because you had great sex and you had great sexual chemistry, but you didn't really particularly like the person, eventually, once the infatuation wears off, you're faced with the fact that you just don't like hanging out with them. And sometimes that's just the way it is. And that's why when I talk to people or I give people advice, or I do video coaching letters for clients or people on the internet that have written to me, I always tell them it's important to date a lot of different women so you can have choices, so you can be in an abundance type of mentality. Because when you meet women that you really connect with, not only physically you want them and desire them, but you sincerely like hanging out with them, you're going to be more attracted to and drawn to that person than you are going to be to the average beautiful woman that you're going to meet. And the thing is that if you're not dating a lot, or you haven't dated a lot, you haven't been on a lot of dates, you haven't slept with a lot of different women, you haven't taken enough women through the seduction process to get comfortable with it, it's going to, when you meet somebody that just knocks your socks off, you're going to totally come unglued and not be able to be comfortable in your own skin just because you haven't been through the process enough. And then what happens, you'll just end up doing what I used to do when I was younger, which was just completely fuck those situations up. And then you spend 6 months, a year and a half kind of licking your wounds, feeling sad for yourself until you meet someone that's just really amazing, really special. And like I said, over the last couple of decades that I've been an adult, I've seen it's every several years someone like that will come into my life. Usually it's when you're not necessarily looking for it, but you're open to it and you want it to happen, but you kind of have a take it or leave it attitude. You're just going about your life. You're focused on your purpose, your dreams, your goals, hanging out with your friends, your family. You have a busy social life. And all of a sudden, one day, it just happens. You meet that person, and then fireworks go off. It's just special and it's amazing, but and I say this all the time, you have to get prepared. You have to learn the things that you need to learn. You got to develop your skill set so when you do meet a woman that knocks your socks off and someone who is available, like this particular girl wasn't available, and you should look at situations like this where you meet the girl and she's like everything like you want, but hey, she's got a boyfriend. That, to me, always communicates that I'm getting really close. That person is about, when I've been single, when those things start happening in like a synchronistic type of way, where it's like one after another, like you see like women with dark hair or with blonde hair, big boobs, nice ass, beautiful legs, whatever it is that you like in a girl, long hair, straight hair, curly hair, wavy hair, doesn't matter. It's like you start to notice that those kind of women, you're noticing them more and more frequently. You tend to see them more and more frequently. And then it just, bam, it just happens. It's amazing. It's a spectacular thing when that happens. But like I said, repetition's a mother's skill. And if you have not prepared by practicing with other women, then you're going to totally fuck it up. And then you're going to spend the next year and a half, or a couple of years, however long it is, until you meet that next great, amazing person you have chemistry with, comparing everybody to them. There's an old Eagles song, I think it's called New Kid in Town. There's a part in the song where they say, they will never forget you till somebody new comes along. He says, over the last few months, I've gotten over her, and I read a lot of self-help material and got myself back in the game and persevered with my purpose. I was centered again in my masculine core. And think about, women all will say that they like guys that have ambition, guys that have goals and dreams and things that they're striving for, because at the end of the day, that is what masculine energy is. That's the embodiment of what a man is supposed to be. Purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing things. Feminine energy is about opening up to receive love. And so if you're focused on your purpose and your career and your goals and your dreams and you're making shit happen and you're feeling good about it, you're embodying the energy of what an alpha male is all about. And women are going to find you more attractive and sexier when you're in that state of mind. You just give off a different energy. He says, however, I find, now listen to this, this is where the limiting beliefs and the self-defeating psychology starts to play. And this is the story that you tell yourself. And a lot of people have shit like this run around their minds, and they don't really think about how their own internal psychology is really holding them back in life. Because it's hard to meet somebody when you think like this and you feel this way. What you focus on, you attract. Where intention goes, energy flows. He says, however, I find that no matter how hard I try to connect with new people, they never seem to reciprocate. This applies to people that I try to make friends with or women I attempt to court. So what? It doesn't matter. You're not going to connect. And let me think about it. How you're not going to meet a new best friend every single day of your life or every single week or every couple of months. It just doesn't work. That's why a best friend is a best friend, because you have a lot in common. You love hanging out together and you really connect well and you enjoy hanging out with that person. They encourage you and accept you to be you, and they like being around you because you accept them. And not everybody's going to be that way towards you. As I say all the time, like attracts like. He says, I do not aggressively pursue or act needy in person, but within myself I am desperate to improve the quality and quantity of my human relationships, since this ultimately improves the journey of your life. I agree. But I just turned 43, when I look back at my life over the last several decades, there have literally been hundreds of friends and acquaintances, business associates, people that I used to hang out with and maybe go do double dates with them and them and their girlfriends or their wives or whatever, that I don't want to talk to anymore. Because it's interesting, when you think about all the jobs that you've had in your life, as you get older and you get some perspective, you're able to kind of look back. It's like you tend to hang out with the people that you work with, and if you change jobs, you stop hanging out with the people that you used to work with, and you start hanging out with the people that you currently work with. And people kind of come and go in life. That's part of the journey. He says, to make things worse, my fucking degree, he says I'm training to be a doctor, keeps dealing me social blows time after time, as I am always put on clinical placements that are in isolated places. It's like when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at, you got to ask, the quality of your life is going to be in direct proportion to the quality of the questions that you consistently ask yourself. And I can already tell your self-talk really sucks. You're asking really bad questions. And I mean, look what you say. I am always put on clinical placements that are in isolated places. Well, what could you do? Who do you need to talk to get put in places where you really would like to be? Something to think about. Again, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. He says, as a result, I can't practice or build on social skills. So that tells me you're just giving up, throwing up your hand. You can go to the mall. You can find time to go and practice. You can go to a busy public place. Maybe you have to drive for an hour to get to someplace cool. So what? I mean, life's a journey. It's not, there's not going to be like some magical point in time where you arrive at life and you're like, I got it. I got everything. It's because what you're doing is you're expecting an external event is what's going to make you happy. And it's about the journey. You've got to find a way to enjoy the journey of getting to where your goals are. Because the bottom line is when you achieve a goal, you'll be like, hey, this is great. It's going to be a temporary fix for you, so to speak. But then you're going to realize, hey, there's another bigger mountain over there that I can go climb. There's a bigger goal that I can take on. There's a bigger accomplishment I can try to achieve. That's the way life is. You can never stop evolving. He says, to make things even worse, the door to my subconscious blew open as I had a dream about the girl who liked me, who I mentioned above. In the dream, I felt so alive and energized by her, and I felt like I could do anything. You should think like this. You should say affirmations to yourself like, wouldn't it be nice if I could meet a girl who was just like that woman, who was just as much into me, but she was single and available, and therefore we could date and have a relationship. Wouldn't it be nice if? Instead of walking around expecting and saying, well, this is what always happens. My life always sucks. It never gets any better, which is basically what you're telling yourself. He says, then I fucking woke up and found myself alone with my thoughts. Now I fucking miss her all over again. I see on Facebook that she's living her life appearing happy while I'm in a fucking rut. I'm socially fucked and will probably end up overweight, lonely, miserable, and hateful like my mother and unassertive like my father. Like I said, you get what you focus on in life. And so that is what you are working towards to create in your life, because that's what you're focused on. You get what you focus on in life. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. You'll look at different things. Ask yourself a better quality question. Say things like, if you can't be satisfied where you're at, you say, wouldn't it be nice if, fill in the blanks. Wouldn't it be nice if I eventually got a really great job? Wouldn't it be nice if I met 3 or 4 really great girls to date, and I was dating 3 or 4 great girls, and all of a sudden, boom, I met the love of my life. He says, I fear nobody will like me, chase me, or appreciate me in the same way that she did, and that I will never form a connection with someone like her again. You're attached. You have a scarcity mindset. That's what you're telling yourself. There's 6.5 billion people on the planet. You simply need to get out there and circulate. Circulation is the key to health. It's the key to the universe. It's the key to life. You've got to move around and sit in your house feeling sorry for yourself, and using shitty self-talk like this is not going to help you change the circumstances of your life. I've got a couple quotes that I want to share with you. First one is, my choice, my responsibility, win or lose, only I hold the keys to my destiny. And there's another one, that was Elaine Maxwell. Another one is, happy people have 2 things in common. They know exactly what they want, and they feel they're moving towards getting it. And there's another one, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That's something to think about. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.